my thing has always been, especially the conversation surrounding the schools are failing our kids in our communities. All right, so y'all just really sitting around just watching the schools fail, and you okay with it? You okay with putting your child in the failing school and just watching the school fail while your child is there? I never understood that. You can't put 100% of the blame on the schools. At what point do the community and the parents start to do something different?
Mhm.
Um, a lot of these school systems are passing these kids. They blame No Child Left Behind, where these kids are. I'm working with a student now. He's still in public school. Came to me a couple months ago. He is graduating as a senior in 3 weeks, and he is illiterate.
Right,
Functionally illiterate, but he's graduating. And so when you have a system that allows for that and promotes that, I mean, I know everyone's heard prison to pipeline, but it's really real, and they have no interest in educating our children to become entrepreneurs, free thinkers, lifetime learners, um, STEM, technology driven. They have no interest in that. They need us for the workforce, for service related jobs, mostly. If COVID hasn't shown you what they need and want us for, then nothing will. If this pandemic has not convinced you that your children are getting substandard educational services, I don't know what to tell you. Like, this has been a wake up call for many families, because they're
right,
actually getting to see in real time what their kids are learning, and more importantly, how it's being taught.
right, right. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But one thing out of that is you recognized an issue and then you decided to do something about it. So you decided to create the homeschool. So can you? Okay, I'm gonna be petty. All right, I'm gonna be petty.
No, 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 no. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up.
Oh, you want to talk? See, I
Yes,
told you I was gonna be
yes.
petty. I got more. Go ahead.
Two things. Two things. First thing, um, to everybody watching this show, I just gotta say I can't control that my internet is janky right now, so that's why I'm a delayed and I'm fuzzy. So that's that. Don't judge me. Judge my ISP. Second thing, I don't know that I like y'all giving parents a pass right now.
We're giving
Like
them a pass.
let's be yes.
How? Go ahead. So you saying we need to lean on them a little more? So we're gonna
Let's
go.
have a conversation.
Let go. Well, let's go.
Let's go.
Go ahead. Take us there.
Cause the fact of the matter is, a lot of parents, I'm not gonna say most, a lot of parents see school, after school programs, sports activities, summer programs, all of these programs as babysitters for their kids.
Well,
They
yeah.
don't care about the quality of service. They don't care about what the kids are learning. Half of them don't care about who's watching their kid or the environment that their kids are in. They just want somebody watching their kids that they can hold responsible if something happens to their kid, but they don't care about what's happening to their kid unless it's happening to their kid physically.
Well,
So
yeah.
let's talk like no, like the school system is failing because it ain't the school system failing, it's the parents in the community failing. It's
Well, right.
you.
Well, I mean, right. Look, all right. We're from the south side of Tallahassee. So most of the schools that we attended on that south side are expected to fail. Right. So this is the school system that we are forced to go into because these are the schools that we zone to. So they're failing schools and the environment is like whatever. And like you say, there are a lot of parents who just don't care. There are a lot of parents but that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't just blame the schools. You got to do something about it. because the school not gonna get no better if don't nobody put no pressure on them to get better.
But I'm also going to push back just a little bit because you can't give what you don't have. So these
That's true
parents
too.
received piss poor education with no expectations, no real standards, just with the mentality of just get a job, just get your diploma, get a job, and you'll be fine. Then that's what they're going to give their kids. That's what they're going to pass down. You don't know what you don't know. And a lot of these parents don't even understand. They understand they can't afford private school. They understand that they can't get their kid in the charter school because of lottery. And so they feel like, well, once they've exhausted those options, then what? Now,
Well,
I agree with Mr. Patrick, though, in the sense that, then make it your business to know. But a lot of
yeah,
people are just trying to make ends meet.
true.
Well, let's push back on the pushback.
Go ahead.
Push back on the pushback.
Go ahead.
Let's push back. So the pushback to the pushback from the pushback while we pushing back.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I do agree with you. Some people don't, like, you're right. You can't give what you don't have. Like, that's facts. But if you have the ability to observe what's happening and formulate a complaint about it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so we're talking about actually three. I would categorize them in three different categories of a type of a parent, honestly.
right.
So I think that to have an honest, open conversation that's solutions based, you've got to address who really can make the changes and really can make a difference in their children's education at this time. And that's not going to be the parent who needs the school system to babysit, who needs aftercare, like you said, just to take care of the physicality of their child, and really doesn't have the time, energy, or effort or know-how to look into their children's education more than, oh, I see here you got A's and B's, great. Not realizing that those A's and B's don't mean anything because your child still can't read, has issues with reading comprehension, has issues with coding, has issues with learning basic algebraic formulas, but they've got that A and B, so they think that means something. I pulled my son out of school with straight A's and B's and made him repeat ninth grade because I realized he couldn't write for anything. But yet he had a straight A in English, honors English. But his honors English, ninth grade honors English was my sixth grade writing skill level.
Right.
So I think we really have to be honest and look at what's really, really, really going on.
Okay. So my question is, all right, you have your homeschool, you see these issues. So let's say, well, let me ask this. Have you had children who come out of the public school system to come into your homeschool system who, yes, they have the grades, but they lack the actual knowledge? You have those kids. So how do you address those inefficiencies? Like kind of, you don't have to give away all the sauce, but kind of give us a couple steps of how you address those issues to bring them
I
up.
gladly will give the sauce away because I want my kids to grow up in a world where they are around people who can think for themselves and also want to be lifelong learners. I don't want my daughter's potential pool of suitors to be dumb and uneducated and or for my sons. And I don't want the people making decisions for me when I'm old to be uneducated, illiterate, unable to do research and believe in everything they hear and see on TikTok. No, thank you. So when I get kids, I literally start everybody off at the beginning. What is a noun? What is a verb? What's an adverb? What's an adjective? And we build from there all the way up until I've got my second and third graders doing research papers. Now, are they doing excellent 5-essay, 5-star research papers? No, but they know how to do what a thesis is. They know how to go about researching a topic, getting that information, what plagiarism is, and then producing a piece of work that they can be proud of and say, look what I did. Our public school system is all about show. There's no application. So great, you read 50 books about how to change a light bulb, and you filled out your little bubble sheet, and you made your little AR test and got straight 100s, but then you come home and I'm like, okay, great, now change those light bulbs. Can't, they can't buy what they've just read. I'm just going to go in a real quick.
Right.
The other issue is when I get my kids from public school, they're reading. They're not even asking these kids to read full books anymore, because the tests are just excerpts from the book where they fill in a little bubble, multiple choice. So the kids don't even know how to take a piece of literature and break it down to the setting, the characters, the plot, the theme, the resolution of the theme. No clue how to do that. They could tell you the dog red. I always say this: the dog wore red shoes, but they can't tell you why.
But and what's crazy with that is you can take those same kids, you can give them that passage, and watch them fail to break it down. But give them a movie and give them the whole plot and everything, and they'll break the movie down because they've been conditioned with the visuals, because they're not going to be like succinct like we want them, like this is the plot, this is but they'll be able to tell you it in their way, and see that's the thing. So you could take that and mold it to, all right, well, this part is the plot, this is the thing, this is the climax, all those different things there. But it just, like you said, in the public school, they're so test focused that they're not going to take the time to, first of all, concentrate on the child's learning style. When I was in school, I needed to be in a classroom where I could get up and walk around and do other things, because I needed that more kinetic learning space rather than just sit down and just be quiet. I'm gonna get bored. My mind go wandering on. I still do that to this day. Like I do good at my job because I have the flexibility to get up and walk around and put on some music and sing a song and get back to work, and just because it helps me produce better. But like you say, in those environments, that's not going to be nurtured at all.
There's no real effort on teaching children to make connections to the world, real connections to the world around them. So what ends up happening is you have kids who think they hate reading. They don't hate reading. They hate not understanding what they're reading. They hate not understanding the point of what they're reading. That's what they hate. So one of the things that we focus on in our group is we teach the kids to look at anything that they're dealing with, whether it's art, literature, music, STEM, it doesn't matter what it is, through their own perspective. Black child, Black woman, Black male, you can read these books or excerpts as they're required to do, and pull from your own perspective to really get a deeper understanding of it. They don't do that in public school. They don't have time.
Right.
Yeah, right. I think that's the issue right there, is the time. Like you said, everything's all show, no go. And that's why, all of these kids can read, but they can't comprehend, and that's why we're having all these conversations. I mean, even in our group, having conversations about how to analyze a YouTube video to see if it's factual or not. Like a lot of these kids, if anything comes across the screen, it's facts. They saw it. The man said it. It's facts. Even if they know it to be false, they don't necessarily have the ability to reject what comes across a screen. And some of that for the younger kids is just executive development. Their brains just aren't developed enough, maybe.
If we're real honest, there are a whole lot of adults that fell down the Q rabbit hole. There are a whole lot of adults that, the whole alternative facts, the fake, the big lie. I mean, there are a lot of adults, again, who can't reason. So we took out critical thinking. We took out being able to make connections and having perspectives on and the true analysis of literature. And we're left, and we now are living with the results of having taken that out. We have stupid people in our country. I mean, it is what it is. We have people who cannot
Yeah.
start and follow a thread to the finish and come up with complete thoughts and yeah, I mean, it boggles my mind when you listen to the expectation we have on kids, but then we look at who's teaching our kids, who they're going home to, who's looking at news with them and analyzing the news.
Yeah.
Most don't even watch the news anymore. But what's scary is it's intentional, because in the world that we live in,
Right.
with the resources and accessibility that we have, it's intentional, and that just makes it worse.
Well, yeah. We
And
are, especially
yeah, and that's
nowadays.
the challenge. That's the challenge.
Right.
That's the
Well,
challenge
yeah.
with I'm sorry, Joe.
No,
That's the
go ahead,
challenge
because you got
with
your delay.
what
Go ahead.
we're that's the challenge with what we're dealing with right now, is that there is so much information available, and there are so many people that are so comfortable and willing to follow threads without applying any logic to the threads that they're following. And these are the people that are on social media showing themselves, trying to be thought leaders. They're they're basically all over the internet becoming content creators, and people are worshiping them as intelligent, as this and as that. And I'm not saying that these people aren't intelligent, because intelligence is mental adaptability. But what I am saying is their ability to critically think about things, or to reason about things, or to follow a thread, is just not where it needs to be put in this space of being a
Look,
thought leader, or a academic leader, or anything of that nature.
well. I don't know if you look at it from a different angle. So the schools are structured to turn
Okay.
out worker bees. So every now and then you get folk
Right.
like us who slip through the crack, who at home and outside of school, or you may have had a teacher who taught you critical thinking. Because I know what that's critical thinking was an actual class in elementary, middle, and high school was critical thinking. So, and in our house, like my mom, she was adamant on critical thinking. Use your brain. If you had a brain, you'd be dangerous. But it's it's just being able to think and analyze situations. But we know, okay, so they're turning out worker bees, but the system is designed to turn out these worker bees, so you can have these corporations going on, these businesses going on, but also if you don't have the worker bees, who are these thought leaders? Who are their followers going to be? And so a lot of these people understand that there are a lot of people with the sheep mindset, the worker bee mindset, and so that's why it's easy for them to become thought leaders. They're charismatic. They have the tools. They have the resources, so they can become thought leaders. Especially in a world full of people who think they're thinking for
Yeah.
themselves, but think like everybody else. So
Agreed.
You know, the crazy part of that too is nowadays you don't really get real critical thinking courses until you get to college. And how many people are locked out of college for various reasons?
And that's why I was saying you have all these adults that can't think critically because we took it out of school. There used to be logic classes, a class you could take called logic, philosophy. They don't have those anymore.
right, yeah,
You
I
you
took
can't
I
even
took
find them.
philosophy. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I took honestly, I took
Yeah,
philosophy
and we
class.
teach people to look down on them too. Like we teach people to look down on philosophy.
Yeah, but I took that class in college. One of the reasons I took that class is when I would watch TV, it was like, okay, these are the people who seem it seemed nerdy, but I love the questions they would ask because it would make you think. And so I was like, oh, when I got a chance to take a class like this, I'm gonna take it because I like to think, I like to solve problems. And so it was one of those things that push you mentally. People are afraid of mental exercises. Like I say, people aren't reading.